Lily's Clefairy EX. This is the chase card from the new Pokemon set. Just cheeky little one-packer before we open the shop. But I didn't jump online today to boast about how lucky I am when I open Pokemon packs. I jumped on to tell you all about the eBay 2025 State of Collectibles report, 36-page report. I did all the reading so that you don't have to, which, listen, I've got very poor eyesight and a fading memory, but I was able to stay focused just long enough to get through at least 30, 32, 33 of the pages efficiently. I'm taking some notes and I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to present them to you in a minute. One lucky viewer will... No one's going to win that. So, how good has Pokemon been? I thought that eBay would have gone with a massive big Charizard on the front cover of their report. The 2025 eBay State of Collectibles report. They didn't. And in fact, you're going to find out that really Charizard is not that big a deal. So listen, without further ado, let's get underway. Of course, this report wasn't created by eBay. It was prepared by Deloitte Access Economics, widely regarded as one of the best forecasters of economic related information in the world. And the survey itself was conducted by Dynata. I don't know how you say it. They are the world's largest first-party data platform for insights, activations, and measurements. Famously, I have not heard of them at all. But anyway, let's not hold that against them. Dynata closed their surveys on Feb 25 this year, and they targeted adults, which is really interesting when you hear some of the findings of the report. Clearly, one of the driving factors as to why Charizard almost made didn't have the impact that I expected. Deloitte Access Economics was not provided information about the items that were declined. Sorry, let me say that again. Deloitte, this is actually a big deal. And I think I don't think it has a massive impact in the overall findings of the report, but it is really interesting that it is at the top of this report. Deloitte Access Economics was not provided information about items that declined in value or were not sold and has not independently verified any of the eBay data. So I'm not sure whether that means that this is the sort of scenario of the item sold but it wasn't paid for, or this is the price that it ended at on like 130 point sites like that, and not necessarily the actual value that the item ended at. I'm not sure, but it's interesting that made up the top. I think that the takeaways remain the same, but some of the specifics, in particular, one of the cards in particular, didn't look right to me, but we'll get to that. My biggest takeaway, 1 in 3 collectors believe that their collections help with stress. Maybe. I think that perhaps there's moments where my collection helps me with stress. Certainly on occasions it helps me like check out for a Sunday. And maybe the sort of the process of burning the fuel. But I tell you, collecting is very stressful, particularly when people like GLWSU and try to throw comps around, she gets quite stressful in the card game. Maybe it's differently with coins and fashion, I'm not sure, but my takeaway, that is interesting, that over 30% of people believe that their collection helps with their stress. The key findings from the report: 1 in 3 adults collects. That checks out. eBay still the most popular platform to collect on. That absolutely checks out. It continues to evolve. I think it remains the first point of call for me when I'm looking for a new card. The median profit in the last 3 years for collectors is $13,000. That is extraordinary. So the median profit of people buying the coins, fashion, cards in the last 3 years, in what's been an incredibly difficult economic time, is $13,000, which is double what it was when they did this report 2 years ago. So in terms of trading cards, the cards that people have purchased in between the 22 season and 25 season have return a median profit of 13,000, potentially, and then the previous years to that, which is the LaMelo Ball, Zion Jar through Jalen Green and Mobley years, were half that profit. That is interesting, because the sealed product probably hasn't shown that same results. The most popular categories were coins and toys. That doesn't surprise me at all. Coins continue. I don't think coins will ever be passed. It's just too ingrained. I mean, literally, the dollar is essentially what drives almost every other investment. So the reality is that's where people are going to lean back onto. Toys, we get such enjoyment from toys, and every single kid gets toys when they're growing up. So the reality is that they will continue to be number 1 or 2. I think toys are a massively missed category here, particularly in the graded sector. But that's a whole different story. 85% of collectors cited nostalgia as a driving factor as to why they would purchase. And interestingly enough, 5 million, an estimated 5 million Australians who don't currently collect are interested in doing so. And they're most likely going to be interested in taking up collecting with something that is nostalgic. So I think if you're looking at that sort of age group, if they don't currently collect, maybe they're sort of 30 plus, you're looking for things that they're going to be nostalgic about. I think Pokemon is just waiting to explode. I'm certainly going through a really strong growth phase now, but I just feel like it is just, it's just teetering on something extraordinary in the next 5 to 10 years. The biggest influence people predict is going to be TV and movies. This is really interesting because in the card space, TV and movie cards struggled for many, many years. During the COVID boom, they took off. The prices became incredible. The product was unable to be created. Upper Deck, who had a lot of those licenses, found it difficult to get a lot of products to market. Obviously, the content, the assets were unable to do any signing because they were prevented from doing so because of COVID. And then they were unable to do that. Then a whole bunch came onto the market at the same time. So those products and the values of those autographs, of those TV and movie stars, really struggled. There's a huge amount of downward pressure, more supply than demand in a short space of time. I don't believe there was more supply than demand overall, just in this period of time. So I anticipate that we're going to see that get sopped up as the market continues to grow, particularly as the entertainment Marvel trading space continues to come up in the next few years. Some more takeaways. Trading cards came in 8th. So trading cards came in 8th spot on the list of most collected items by those that were surveyed. I thought it would come in top 5. When I read that it came in 8th, when I read that it came in behind cameras, I was stunned. Maybe it came in behind cameras because that includes iPhones. I don't know. We'd have to drill down more into the categories. So potentially that's an iPhone thing. I can't see how cameras beat it. Stamps are still bigger than trading cards. Now, I just, stamps literally, it is and still. How? No one sends mail anymore, and if they do, they get an electronic label. So it's not like it's a formal kind of logistics currency. It's not like it was ingrained in every kids. They went from a blanket to a toy they were licking the back of stamps. That was one of my first chores. That's why I got so many cracks in my tongue. I over licked stamps. Stamps still bigger than trading cards. So what that says to me is that trading cards overall have an extraordinary amount of growth still ahead of them. They will be in the top 5 in a very short period of time. They will overtake stamps in a very short period of time. They should overtake cameras. And I think that that is a very exciting prospect for collectors of trading cards in Australia, particularly people that invest. And this report constantly cites that there is a strong emphasis on investment in these collectibles decisions. In the buying decisions, they're talking about the median profit people have made, and the differences in that profit in the last 2 years. So I think that investment is very, very important. It potentially wasn't. I think we were really connected with collectibles, and we wanted to hold on to this wholesome idea of them being something that was sentimental. Its value was sentimental to us, and that was more important than anything else. And I think that is starting to be eroded, not because we think less of them, not because they're less important to us, but because the reality is that that these have always been a traded item. From the moment we started collecting, particularly trading cards, we were trying to trade into something else, whether that be into the feeling of having a complete collection of one particular type of trading card, or that was having the best of a particular type of trading card. But there was always a more of a value associated to it than just the sentimentality. Some of the top cards that were identified, one of them is one of my cards. I'm not sure if this is one I purchased, but it's the Hemmett's Journal Muhammad Ali rookie card. It was in the top 5. It sold for 40,000 Australian dollars, just over 40,000 Australian dollars. Panini and Upper Deck both had cards in the top 5, a flawless Ronaldo, an SP Authentic Tiger Woods, respectively, and they bought in almost $100,000 between the two of them combined. And no surprises, the highest selling card was a base set Charizard PSA 9, which did surprise me. I don't understand how no PSA 10 base set Charizard has sold on eBay Australia. That is extraordinary. Whether people feel as though there is a significantly increased value in having that in a US marketplace, I don't think there is. I think you would get the same, if not more, in this market purely because of the demand here is great, and there is just none here. You just don't see base set 10s here. Anyway, I digress. I'll finish up because we're going to open the store here in Hobart very shortly. But the important buying factors, and this is really important, particularly for someone who's got an e-commerce store /business /headache. 18% of people said that pricing or discounts on eBay were the reason that they chose to shop. That is undoubted. The pricing on eBay is incredible. The discounts they offer are frequent and fantastic. And as someone who sells on the platform, I'm always blown away by the ability that customers have to get stuff at really incredible prices. Sometimes cost or less than cost on very strong licenses and very strong releases. 17% said the range, undoubtedly the best range. You can't go anywhere else in the world and find stuff that existed 20, 30 years ago in mint condition or in not mint condition, if that's what you're after. And 12% identified, and this surprised me, an authenticity guarantee. In many meetings I've had with companies like eBay, I've kind of downplayed the importance of the authenticity guarantee. I don't think that authenticity is that big a deal. I definitely don't think it's that big a deal in adult collectors. I think that kids in Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that probably have a lot of issues. I was surprised that in an adult space that the authenticity is that important. Clearly it is. And I don't have much on my website that drives that trust of authenticity around its product. So, clearly that's a failure of mine. eBay do have it. It's executed ad hoc, I feel, in the trading card space. I'm sure they've got ideas in improving that and making it more consistent. Got a card the other day. It was like a $10,000 or $15,000 card. It didn't go through the program. Not sure why. But overall, extraordinarily positive report. Of course, not done by eBay, done by Deloitte Access Economics, not surveyed by eBay, surveyed by Daynator. eBay gave them some information, and as they mentioned, it wasn't independently verified, but eBay doesn't stand to gain anything by giving them false data. I wouldn't have thought. I don't think they're looking to sell at the moment, so they don't need to puff their numbers up. But anyway, it's a fantastic report. Don't read it; it's too long. 36 pages is too long. There is an executive summary. Read that, and there's a really cool little infographic too. Make sure you check it out. We'll have some of the key takeaways on the Cherry site. Thank you for listening. I hope I provided some value from that. But my number one takeaway is that it's extraordinarily positive. I think trading cards are going to make it into the top 5 in the next 5 years. And I am absolutely disgusted that 1 in 3 collectors seem to be able to have a stress-free collecting experiences. That ain't me, and I'm jealous, and I'm offended, and I think that you clearly aren't collecting trading cards. What are you collecting? I might start. Let's open this shop.